Right guys, hopefully you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you all stopping by again. Today we've got a load of dead legs to remove. A dead leg, if you don't know what it is not me hobbling around on site all day. It's actually a part of a system that is no longer operational or is disused. So it can be where somebody's removed like a basin or a sink or a shower and they've not taken the supply pipe back to the distribution pipe, if that makes sense. So it needs to be either the T-piece removed from the section of pipe to have a full flow through, or cap back to within twice the diameter of the pipe. So we've got quite a few to do today. I'll try and get some shots if I can, and I'll sort of talk what I'm doing through the job, because sometimes it's impossible to remove the T-piece and sometimes you have to cap back to twice the diameter of the pipe, but I'll explain that in the video. So it might be quite interesting if you don't know what a dead leg is. Also, a dead leg can be where you've got a long hot water draw off, but that's not what I'm doing today. These are just Legionella remedials. But I'll explain more in the video, as I've already said, and hopefully you all find it enjoyable and interesting. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the video. So we've got to go around today and remove a load of dead legs. This is a dead leg basically. It's a part of a system that's not used, it's been capped. So we either need to cap it back to within twice the diameter of the pipe or remove it completely. So here I'm just going to cut it, put a 22 compression socket and then repipe it, and it feeds the basin on the other side. So we'll put a socket, reduce a valve, and then just pick it back up. Might even be able to pick it back up here if I'm lucky. That's that one anyway. I'm just going to take this cap end off, make sure it's empty, and then cut it back here, and then just replace that piece. Right, we just had enough pipe to get a valve on there, so we just need to repipe it from here now, straight into removing the dead leg, obviously. I'm using compression joints because I can't solder in here. I soldered that reducer outside, so just use jet blue on your compression joints. I've only got a few connections to make, so it'll be fine. Right guys, so that's the first one all done and dusted. I'll leave this switched off until last. We're going to do all the rest of them and then we'll switch everything back on and check for leaks. So we've completely removed the dead bit of the pipework, so there's no chance of Legionella getting back into the main now. So this one here was a similar thing, it was just capped off over here. So we're going to cap it back to within twice the diameter of the pipe, which is in regulation. So I'm going to take that off, cut a little bit more off it, and then just cap it back. So in theory, we've got 30mm past that branch, so you get a 15mm cap end in there. It's never easy when you're under units and stuff, but that does comply with regulations then. So we've got the old nut and olive off. We just need to cut that back. At the minute it's, say, 50mm. We need to cut at least 20mm off that, and then just cap it off, and then that complies. Alright, so we've got a 30mm stub now, so we can just pop a compression cap end on straight on there, and that complies. In theory we could remove the whole piece, but it's quite awkward behind there, so we're just going to do it like this. It just complies, so no problems. Right, that one's all compliant now. That was an easy one. So the next one's going to be a bit harder because we've actually got to remove the T on the 28, but that's all compliant. Not the best, but it is compliant. So this one I've got to try and remove that 28T and get rid of that dead leg that was a washing machine valve. So I'm going to have to cut it and try and get a bit of movement. It's not going to be easy. Right, I've cut it on the 15mm. I just need to cut it on that 28 when it stops running. It's going into my tray. And then hopefully we'll get a little bit of movement. If not, I'll make a couple of slips up. Disconnect it off that 28 there as well. So once that stops, I'm going to cut it. Right, pipe's all back in, dead leg removed. I had to do it quick so I didn't get much footage because it kind of sucked in a bit. There's a drain in the middle of the floor. I just got my wet vac. Need to have a hoover up, but we should be good. I think we've done this end now. So I'll make sure all the taps are off. I'll go the other end and do the other ones. Yeah, awkward. But the dead leg's over there, I'll show you in a second. But yeah, should be fine. This is an easy one. All I'm going to do with this is screw a drain off tap in. So just a nut and olive on my drain off tap. Boss White up or JetBlue and tighten that in, because that's a low point anyway, so you can drain it into there. I think it used to feed a shower, probably. Obviously it's been done away with, so that's an easy one. So that's that one all compliant. Just obviously tighten that up. You can still get the machine out and everything. It just means if you ever have to drain this leg down, you've got to drain off the top there as well. So all it feeds is a washing machine. So that's fine. So this one's going to probably be the most awkward one of the lot. I've got to try and get rid of that T-piece there on that 28 inch. Might be Imperial. Oops, the steps are slipping. Probably not good. So I'll probably get a bucket, drain that. That's actually sucking in. And yeah, I just have to cut it here somewhere where I can. Cut it on the other side and try and get that out. Might have to make some slips up, but it's going to be good fun, that. So somebody's put that band there just for me so I can put my bucket on my tray. Just draining what's left in that pipe. I've opened the taps obviously, but they're non-concussive, so you can't really leave them open. So when that's drained, I'll cut it on the right hand side of that T and I'll cut it on the left hand side. And we'll have to try and get some new pipe in. It's going to be good fun. I've cut it off there with a Milwaukee pipe cutter, so I just need to cut it over there somewhere, and the awkward bit's going to be trying to get the section of pipe in. I'll clean the paint back as well, obviously before I join onto it, but that's what it's going to be. Alright guys, that's the pipe all out. So obviously we've cut it there and there. We just need to clean these pipes up. And I don't think I'll get any movement, but I might have to make a slip to get it in. Just file down the compression socket. We'll clean that all up, get it nice and shiny, and just get it put back. That's the last one done then. Right, change of plan. What I'm going to use is two compression elbows, and I'm going to solder 2 elbows up outside near the van, and then I'm just going to drop it in, because I'm not going to get any movement on that pipe. So that's how I'm going to do it. It won't make any difference, it's all mains pressure, it's not going to airlock, it's not like it's tank fed. So, as I say, I'll clean them pipes up, put these on, and then straight in then. Job done. That one complies, but it's cap packed within 2 diameters of the pipe. So I'm not touching that, that is 42 by the looks of it. Right, so this is actually inch copper, not 28. You can get away with inch and 28, and likewise 15 and ½ inch, because it's just real tight, but 3/4 and 22 you won't be able to join. You'd have to use Imperial olives or converters. I can do a full video on how you join different pipes, Imperial to metric. So I just need to finish cleaning this off, get my olives on, get my nuts on, and then tighten that up. It should be fine. Right, that's the first one on and all tightened up. It is always awkward when you're working on old painted pipe, especially when it's Imperial, but that's gone on all the way. I've jet blued it all up, so I've just got the other one to do, and then the other bit's easy. Just 2 elbows, drop it straight in, job done. We can get the water back on then and get everything tested. All I do with these guys is just bang a socket on with a hammer, and it just like cleans up the end of your pipe, and then you can normally tap your nut and olive on, and then you can get your elbow on. So it just makes it easier than trying to get the elbow, if that makes sense. So that's all in. I've used a compression that end as well, because I couldn't be bothered to measure it at the van. I forgot the measurement. So I just bought that through there like that. So there's no dead leg in there whatsoever. That'll be fine. It's all hidden behind panelling anyway. So that's how I've done it. It's just, it'd have been pretty much impossible to get any movement on this pipe. It's all rigid, solid, and it's all Imperial. So you're fighting a losing battle. So yeah, we'll get the water back on, make sure we've got no leaks, and that's job done. Alright guys, so it's the next day following on from them dead legs that we did yesterday. We've got another enforcement job to do this morning. I've been to this one a few times and never been able to get in. I think it's a 2-hour slot. It's just basically where they answer the door. We think it might be an empty property now, but we've got to actually prove that it's empty, so we have to attend a few times. We've got a warrant, but it doesn't mean a lot really. Basically there's a big leak in the house. The water meter spinning in the road, and yeah, it's basically leaking, so we need to get in there and obviously find it and fix it, or if not, cap it off if it's just feeding, you know, an old outside toilet or something. We often get that, so that's what we're going to do this morning if we can get in. It's a little bit early. I've got about 10 minutes to wait. I've just parked up round the corner. So yeah, that's this morning's job anyway. I never really liked this, as I said in the last video, doing these jobs, but it is what it is. Somebody's got to do them. The guy from the water board will meet me down here, and hopefully we'll be able to gain access, and hopefully it's fine. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, I'll update you when we're done anyway, and yeah, hope for the best on this one. Somebody was asking about what certificates were the forms that I used. These are like the water safe certificates. On every job, you've obviously got your member's name, your member's number, your company name, and your contact number. You've got the address where the work was carried out, including water company, and the name and the address of the person who commissioned the work, so that'd be myself, and the description of the work completed. So I always fill these out on big jobs. So if I've done like a refurbishment that I'm on now, this will get like a compliance certificate, just to say that everything's been installed correctly. So you've used the correct fittings, you know, they're all RAS approved. You haven't used any leaded solder and stuff like that. Basically, if you fitted outside taps, they've got double check valves within the thermal envelope of the building. So bits and pieces like that. So if you're doing work on plumbing, it's always good to leave a certificate anyway to show that it complies. And how you get on the scheme, you have to go on you basically have to sit a course, your RAS course at college, and then every 5 years you have to redo that. It's your water regs, and then you can apply to be on the water safe, and you get a little member's card and a member's number and stuff. So that's what they are. Right guys, just a quick update on that job. That job nearly beat me, but it didn't, thankfully. So we stood outside, me and the waterboard chap. They were supposed to be there at 8 o'clock. We phoned the office to find out what was going on basically, and they said somebody would be there at 9. So we waited till about 9:30, just stood outside talking basically, and somebody come down with a bunch of keys and chucked the keys at us and says, there you go. She says, I'm only here for 10 minutes and then we've got to go. She says, right, well, once we're in, we're staying in until the job is done. We're not exiting, because this has been going on 3 years. Once we're in, we're in. So she said, fine. She gave us a number. She said, you'll have to ring when you're done. So we went down in the basement, isolated the stop tap to that house, and the water was still, you could hear it on the meter. Well, it's not a meter, because it's a shared supply, but you could hear it passing. It's pouring out. So it's obviously not on that supply. It's all, bearing in mind this is all lead, really old lead pipe. And there was another stop tap that came up in the kitchen that was just capped off. So it's obviously been like an old outside toilet or an old supply. So what we did, we cut past the T and capped the pipe off and went round and checked with the neighbour to see if they'd got water, and it killed the water next door. So you think, oh God, you know what I mean? So we're now in a bit of trouble, because obviously we've cut the pipe. Bearing in mind there's no movement on this pipe, it's all rubbish lead. So what we had the idea of doing is drilling out the basement under the passageway and picking the pipe up in the other side. So I got a really long drill bit on the van. So we bored through, and I came out in the perfect place and picked the pipe up in the neighbour's side underneath this passageway. We sleeved it and everything. I didn't get any pictures or any videos, so you just have to take my word for it. I got one picture, which I'll post. I'll put a little picture up here somewhere. So we bored through and picked it up, and I went off the lead. I put a T and picked up their stop tap in their house, in the house where the leak was, and I picked the neighbours back up from underneath this passageway, and I sleeved it with overflow pipe all the way through, and that is the best solution we could come up with. So obviously it's killed the leak under the kitchen floor. It didn't feed anything anyway, it was obviously a dead supply, but it was all, you know, we didn't know where it was leaking basically. We'd gassed it all. Well, they gassed it 2 years ago and it was all coming up in the kitchen, but it was a big leak. So it's all fixed now, is what I'm trying to say. It's all sorted, and it's a good result because we didn't have to chop any floors up. There was no mess, there was no nothing, and we were just dead lucky we could get underneath this passageway. So yeah, we sorted it. It is now, well, 10 to 1 basically. So I was there. We got in at about 9:30, possibly, when the woman threw the keys at us. So 9:30 is, as I say, so 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. So 3.5 hours it took to fix, possibly, and it's been going on 3 years. And the other thing, there was no power in the house either, because the meter was that far in debt. So I got through with my last Makita battery. Thank God I'd got 5 batteries fully charged, because this wall was, well, my meter drill bit only just went through. So it was underneath the alleyway and I got into the other basement, so I was dead lucky on that one. And as I say, I don't know what would have done if we'd run out of battery charge, because I don't know, I suppose potentially I could have run an extension lead from the neighbour, but she wasn't very happy because she was getting snotty letters. So anyway, it's all sorted now, so it's a good result for everybody, and as long as I get paid, I'm not that bothered. So yeah, thank you all for watching this bit, and I just thought I'd update you.